points. Lynn Kidd going up against Mason Grant. And we are underway with Camels. The Camels collecting the ball. Glad to have you with us here on a fun night for some basketball, Mac.
There'll be an obvious size disadvantage for the Camels, but athletic, very skilled.
Here comes Del Orso trying to back down on Cattoor, and an early turnover.
That's a nice matchup right there. Cattoor is one of the better defensive players on the perimeter in the ACC, and Del Orso was going to take him one-on-one on the first possession.
Already a turnover for Campbell, and something that head coach Kevin McGeehan wants his team to avoid. That's what got them in the hole against ECU in that tough loss.
12 turnovers in the first half led to that big deficit, and they never quite dug their way out.
Lynn Kidd trying to drive in instead of handoff. Cattoor misses the three, and a rebound from Grant. And here is Del Orso, the Big South player, freshman of the year last year. Campbell now in the CAA. Trying to lob it inside and picked away by Padula, so another turnover. Probing in to Lynn Kidd. The Kidd with a left hand, no good. Boy, Steris pulls it down.
Kidd's off to a really good start this season, and he should have an advantage each time down in the post.
I think that 3 turnovers already for Campbell. Padula. Look at Lynn Kidd off the glass.
That's what he has learned, to take his time. You've got the ball that deep, you're at a real advantage. He took his time and really made a nice play right there.
The big man that Mike Young has been impressed with so far this year. Kidd, back-to-back double-figure performances in the first 2 games of the season for the Hokies.
Campbell runs a hybrid Princeton offense. It's really tough to defend. So far, the Hokies have been up to the task.
Virginia native Barron pulls down the rebound.
Campbell switches a lot, plays mostly man-to-man. They press a little bit.
Down the arc to MJ Collins, misses the mark. There's Del Orso. Tassos Cook. Young man from Lithuania driving inside off the double team and draws a foul. That'll go on Barron.
Boy, Steris, undersized postman out of Lithuania, but he's a senior. He really understands how to play, plays really hard, makes up for his lack of height by his strength and how hard he plays.
There's Kevin McGeehan in his 11th season as the head coach of Campbell. Spent some time at Richmond with Chris Mooney as an assistant coach. First points of the night for the Camels.
He's done a really good job. They've got beat in a heartbreaker in the championship game a year ago. Had a big lead late.
Just trying to make that next hop for Campbell to the NCAA tournament. Campbell has been a 3-time Big South tournament runner-up in McGeehan's tenure.
Campbell did what they wanted right there. It took about 10 seconds off the clock.
There's MJ Collins with a spin. The floor for Cook, pickpocketed by Collins. Hokies with momentum. Lynn Kidd with a tomahawk, and Tech takes the lead right back.
Great defense by MJ Collins and a wonderful pass. He didn't give it to Kidd too early, gave it to him where he could just take 2 steps and finish at the rim.
He's forcing a good amount of turnovers early, adding that defensive pressure for Campbell. Moran trying to work on Barron. Once again, another steal for MJ Collins. Drives all the way to the glass.
Collins is such a strong, it's just a solid defender. If he can start contributing a little more on the offensive end, he could really be a big factor for the Hokies.
Well, certainly producing on the defensive end. 5 turnovers so far for Campbell. Del Orso is still no good.
Hokies with numbers.
Cattoor arcs of a 3.
the open guy. That's Mike Young basketball in transition.
He's 0 for 2 from beyond the arc so far. They got hot there in the second half in three land. And once again, another turnover. This time, it's a steal from Lynn Kidd. Padula thought about it. Instead, going to hand it off to Lynn Kidd. It's the paint touch and draws the foul. So 6-2, Hokies leading early, trying to capitalize on some turnovers. Look at this big dunk from Lynn Kidd. Got a bucket early, 5-4. Tech leading early in this one, 6-2 at the first media. Probably noticed Campbell has a lot of international players on its roster. For more on that, we go over to Nels Williams. Nels?
Thanks, Bailey. Yeah, you're right. One of the most important aspects of this Campbell Camels team is the amount of international players they have on this team, as well as the impact they've had since they've been in the program. Since 2000, all years except for one, Campbell has had at least one international player on their program. And in fact, this year they have 7 different players from 5 different countries, which is Lithuania, Turkey, Australia, England, and Russia. Now, head coach Kevin McGee and I spoke to him before the game, and he says the team does everything possible to acclimate the players to the United States and to the new country for them, and asks them things such as how their culture interacts with them, what sort of holidays does they celebrate, what sort of food do they eat. And coach has said that the team itself has fostered really a mini culture within the program because the team has had an international player since 2000, like I said, except for 1 year for 2014 and 15. Now, through the structure and the culture of the foreign players who've come through Campbell before, the new international players really buy into everything, not just about the team, but to the school itself as a whole. And Coach McGee in hope said it's something that continues to be a presence in his program in the future. Guys.
Thank you, Nels. We got 7 international players. I mean, that is a lot.
I've had 2 or 3 on some different teams, but 7 is a lot. And that's really interesting. He said they have really enjoyed, sharing and making each other aware of the different cultures, both ours and theirs.
Right. Flagel Poteet checking in for Virginia Tech after Lynn Kidd knocks down a couple of free throws.
6 early turnovers has led to this deficit. Campbell's got to take better care of the basketball, coach, for Coach McKeon.
Yeah, still no made shots from the field for Campbell. Long rebound pulled down by Cattoor. Only 2 points were free throws knocked down by Voisteris. Lost the ball. Here's Kotov, one of those international players we just talked about from Russia. Here is Mike Young, 5th season as a Virginia Tech head coach and an ACC champion back in 2022.
Local product from nearby Radford, and just had a great career at Wofford and now at Virginia Tech.
Kickball. You know, when we talked to Coach Young a few days ago, right after that loss to USC, definitely wasn't discouraged. He says we're at a decent place right now from where we are in the season. You remember, that South Carolina game is only the 2nd game of the year. And trying to work in a few of these new players, like one of them on the floor right now, and Mekhi Long.
Yeah, some returnees, but a lot of key members of this team are new guys that are learning the offense and defense the way Coach Young wants them to play.
Yeah, one of those new guys out tonight with a sickness. Tyler Nickel is not on the floor tonight for Virginia Tech. What a lob inside to Poteet.
Poteet again with the size advantage. Big-bodied post man. Seems like he's fully healthy, Bailey, and if he is, Virginia Tech will get a lot of mileage out of Elijah.
Sanani off of the bench. Junior from Wisconsin with a kick out up top. Look at that defense for the Hokies. Sekis lost the ball and a dive from Padula. Not to be impressed so far with the Virginia Tech defensive pressure early on to be up 10-2. Mid-range. It's going to stay on this side for Virginia Tech.
big difference between Friday night in Charlotte and tonight here in Blacksburg on the defensive end for Virginia Tech. A lot more energy and focus. And again, they played hard against South Carolina, but just seemed like a touch late all the time. Locating the shooters, especially early against South Carolina, played really well in the second half on both ends of the floor.
Now, the Hokies did outscore South Carolina there in the second half, but still fell by 2. Trailed by as much as a double-digit deficit to the Gamecocks. Speaking of double-digit deficits, there's one right there, 12-2 on the drive from Sean Padula.
Averaging almost 21 points a game. Of course, helped by that big career high, 26 against the Gamecocks.
Loose ball at midcourt. Campbell trying to share the ball. Swinging into the corner. Dugan knocks it down. First shot from the field hit so far today for the Camels. And it's Dugan, the freshman from Massachusetts, a player that Coach McGeehan is really high on.
Yeah, came in physically ready to play, can really shoot the basketball. You saw it right there on that position. Sean Padula faked at him. Should have stayed closer to it.
It's over. On the 3, no good. Offensive board. Jay Collins wants some help with the screen. Gonna pull up a mid-range.
There's those shots he's been making in practice, but not necessarily converting in the game. If he does that again, it gives them another offensive threat.
Around the arc, Dugan again. This time it's an air ball. Sekis pressured outside. They go to Dugan again. This time almost lost the ball. Swatted back. And a short shot clock now at 4.1.
Campbell, number 5, Brock Correction.
Makai Long, a player that Mike Young really wants to get going, trying to find his rhythm into this offense. You saw some athletic plays he made there against the Gamecocks at the Spectrum Center. He was really a standout at ODU down in Norfolk. Got a rush here for Del Orso. It's a shot clock violation, so a tough defensive stand for Virginia Tech.
Again, been just really sound on the defensive end. Very few open looks. They've been doing a good job on the ball screens, either switching or really hard hedging and making the ball handler give the ball up.
Freshman Jaden Young getting some burn here early.
Really like him. He can really stroke the basketball. Again, physically ready to play. Played in a really good program in Country Day out of Greensboro.
There's Collins. Elijah Walsh. Del Orso still with no points so far here. Started out with just 1 shot attempted. Off working on Poteet. Long trying to reach a hand in there and slaps the ball away. Possession arrow will keep the ball with Campbell.
Down to 7 on the shot clock.
Brings us to another break. 14-5. Virginia Tech up by 9 early in this one. Points off of turnovers. Hokies only have 14. From the field, Tech shooting 6 of 14 at this moment. Have not knocked down a triple yet. Still looking good here defensively. Del Orso has been quiet in the first 8.5 minutes. That was almost a walk and had to force up a shot. Talking about the defense again yet, Matt.
I think it was a walk. 9 turnovers in 9 minutes.
Number 10, Brandon Recksteiner.
Recksteiner coming in, the freshman from Georgia.
Played really well in the first game out. It was hard to take Sean Padula out of the game at South Carolina. He was playing so well, especially in the second half where you mentioned he had 22.
Recksteiner only played 90 seconds against the Gamecocks. Here comes Cattoor. And that's something that Coach Mike Young really wants to change. He's like, I don't want Sean Padula and Hunter Cattoor to have to play almost the full 40 minutes of every game. So it's going to be crucial for guys like Rex Steiner as well as Jaden Young to get some reps here, especially in the early going.
Yeah, we'll talk about those minutes played later in the game too, but that comes with trust, and that trust only is developed over the course of time.
Lynn Kidd able to track it down in the backcourt.
There you see who has to be on the floor, the two most trustworthy guys at this point in their development.
Good on the layup. Sinani pulls it down. Moving in, Mason Grant with an athletic move, can't finish. This is two close shots.
Grant's the best athlete on this team out of North Charleston, South Carolina.
Back out for Collins. Kai Long, one of the and one there.
Kai Long averaged almost a double-double for Jeff Jones at Old Dominion last year, and I think he's capable of doing those kind of numbers. He's just so active, not really explosive, but he's always around the basketball.
6 points in each of the first two games for the Hokies. Had a solid game against Tech down in Charleston last year in that invitational tournament when Monarchs took on Virginia Tech and made that a really close game. Long at his third school, started out at Rhode Island, then went to ODU, now at Virginia Tech for the Maryland native.
Also back in for the Hokies, 31, Robbie Barron.
And another transfer, Robbie Barron. Spent his entire career at Northwestern up to this point.
The collegiate school in Richmond, Virginia.
I was about to say, we're going to talk about that. Your daughter went to collegiate. You're just a walking advertisement for, what are the Cougars down in Richmond?
That's right.
That's right. All right.
That's right.
And Russell Wilson had a good game.
Yes, he
there
did.
we go. Another collegiate graduate.
Finally got him a win. Yeah.
Yeah. There's Rex Steiner.
Campbell with a solid defensive possession themselves, but
In and out. Look at Lynn Kidd. He'll go to the line for a couple. Hokies starting out ice cold from beyond the arc. Now 0 for 6.
yeah, not shooting the ball well, but points off turnovers inevitably are high percentage looks in transition, and then some second chance points like is coming up right here for Mr. Kidd.
Only one shot made from the field so far for Campbell. That's the 3 from the freshman Dugan. Lynn Kidd already with 7 points.
Checking in for Campbell, number 30, Anthony Delosa, 35, Alex Cattoor.
Kidd, a guy that Virginia Tech fans excited to watch this year. You can see him come into a little bit of his own in games last year for Virginia Tech. It looks like he's got an even bigger role here in the 23-24 campaign.
Yeah, if he and Poteet could split that position and play good 20 minutes apiece and stay fresh all the time, I think that would bode well for Mike Young's group.
Backdoor cut in the slam.
There's the Princeton offense, Elijah Walsh.
Sophomore from England puts some more points on the board for the Camels, but a great feed from Kotoff. A little bit of life for Campbell. And on the shot clock, once again going down to Lynn Kidd. Look at Lynn Kidd, the physical presence, and the finish with the left hand.
Last year would have rushed that a little bit, maybe walked or maybe not gotten the shot up, but he really is playing with a lot more confidence.
Tasso's Cook. Looking down in the shot clock again, Cook. Might have to rush a shot here for Mason Grant. Lost the ball. And another air ball goes back to Virginia Tech.
Nice job by Barron that time, playing a smaller, quicker, really athletic guy. Stayed between him and the basket, and I think he even got a piece of that.
Back with the Hokies, up 12. Looks like Sean Padula ready to check back in. Rick Steiner to the bench. MJ Collins coming in for the freshman and Jay Young. Hokies back for a swing of a couple of non-conference home games. Got Wofford coming up on Sunday. Mike Young's old stomping grounds. Terriers coming up to Blacksburg.
Terriers gave the Vols all they could handle the other night in Knoxville.
There's Cattoor. Walsh carrying in. Still loose. Stays with Campbell. Brings us to yet another break. Hokies up 12, enjoying a double-digit lead at the Cassell over the Camels. Hokies up 12 as you get a beautiful look over Torgerson Bridge on the campus here at Blacksburg, Virginia. Well, Lynn Kidd, Mac, look at him. So far this year, shooting around 85%. He's already got 10 points tonight. And look at last year. He just averaged 5 points per game.
Almost triple what he averaged. He's averaged 8.5 rebounds a game. And that's really in limited minutes. And he did it, Bailey, with hard work. In the weight room with David Jackson, in the film room with the staff, and on the court with the coaches.
Hokies have dialed up that defensive pressure, forcing the turnovers. That's been the story of the game so far for Campbell. 9 of them so far. Just 2 shots made from the field, one of them a dunk. And the finish there from Elijah Walsh. He's got 2 of the buckets for the Camels.
Yeah, direct pass to the post, set that up. Good execution out of the timeout by Campbell.
Dula coming off of a 26-point performance. So far, he's got 2 points for the Hokies on the layup. Dula works it out to Cattoor. It's still cold from 3. Hokies
nice.
Started out 0 for 7, Mac.
Barron had set a nice fade screen, got him open.
Del Orso's having a quiet first half so far. Trying to get the tip back, and Lynn Kidd is there to collect it.
He's done a really nice job on Del Orso, coming off that big game at East Carolina.
And there's Sean Padula trying to get it going from downtown.
Good job by Dugan contesting that shot off the handoff.
Swatted away by Cattoor. It stays with Campbell.
Checking in for Campbell, number 0, Geremis Moksekis.
Checking in Moksekis.
Another Lithuanian, averaging double figures.
Now, in your coaching trips, did you make it out to Lithuania?
I did not. Had several players play there, but made it to Russia, made it to Germany, made it a few places.
Oh, good. Lynn Kidd able to pull it down. I'd imagine those home visits are got to be pretty interesting if you're able to make one out in Eastern Europe. I mean, what do you talk about? You're like, oh yeah, you're from Moscow. I'm from Woodstock, Virginia.
Yeah, we
Not a lot
never
of
know
same.
what the interpreter might be saying. But we had successful trips. We had 1 German player. We had 4 Russian players. So the interpreter must have been saying something good about us.
There you go. I got to learn how to say Chattanooga in Russian. I mean, that just translates directly. Tough lob. And Kotov, the Russian for Campbell. Comes up the swat. Backdoor cut again, and another turnover. Well, Campbell trying to make some adjustments. Elijah Walsh, you're seeing a little bit of energy from them, Nels Williams.
Yeah, guys, I was behind the Campbell bench, and Coach was talking, especially to Cook and Walsh, about just getting space and focus on the weak side guys as well as going downhill. He's really not happy with how long those offensive possessions have been, and he really wants to emphasize getting the ball to those guys. And when it comes, the shooters will shoot and the shots will fall. Guys.
See if this shot falls for Virginia Tech. Still no.
And penetration, a post pass, and a kick out. Usually that leads to a high percentage look. Robbie Barron couldn't knock it down that time.
Yeah, Barron was wide open, but yet again, another turnover.
Checking in for Campbell, 13.
Well, Del Orso coming off of a career night.
Checking in for the Hokies, 34.
It's ECU so far has started out in this one 0 for 3 from the field with 3 turnovers. Got to remember that Del Orso, even though he was the Big South Freshman of the Year last year, it's an adjustment now because, as Kevin McGeehan said, he's now the top player on the stat sheet or on the scouting report. And last year it was about 3 or 4 on that sheet for opposing teams to scout them.
Yeah, and Cattoor, Collins, and Padula have done a good job of frustrating him.
Rattles out.
Long drought for the Hokies.
Yeah, uncharacteristically for Virginia Tech, Hunter Cattoor, a guy who's in the top every year of three-point percentage in the ACC. Right now, Virginia Tech has missed its first 10 three-pointers.
Yeah, and Campbell's had a little bit to do with that, although they've had some pretty good looks that just didn't go down. Campbell gaining confidence, though, hanging around, despite the fact that they're really struggling on the offensive end.
Del Orso likely going to have to be the guy to change that, and he chucked that ball behind the backboard. And it's going to be a foul on Virginia Tech, Sean Padula.
Virginia Tech's number 3, Sean Padula. That's his first.
Created the contact right there, and is going to get to go to the free throw line. See if he snaps his scoreless streak here.
30. Anthony Del Orso shooting 2.
Almost a 90% free throw shooter on the year. Struggles here in the first half. Sophomore from Melbourne, Australia.
You can see the frustration in his body language.
Has his points now, or just his point, I should say. Inside of single digits, though, 19-10. Gonna get through the trap at midcourt.
Again, down under 20 seconds when Virginia Tech starts their offense, actually at 16.
Seven seconds on the shot clock. Poteet was wide open.
Nice job by Collins. Kept the dribble alive until 2 came to get him, and he found Poteet under the rim.
The big men have shined so far for Virginia Tech with Lynn Kidd, and now Poteet going 2 for 2 from the field. Hard bouncing. Sean Padula thought he had all ball there. You can see the frustration for the junior guard. That's his second foul. That takes us to another pause here. Hokies still up, double digits, 21-10. Well, we started out the show highlighting Sean Padula and Anthony Del Orso. Been a bit of a slow night for the 2-star guards so far.
Yeah, you know what happens, Bailey, is the coaches spent all their time showing them film of how good Del Orso was and how good Padula was last time out. And everybody gets excited. They really take that seriously, and they have done a really good job defensively. But it's my analysis right here is that we've got 2 good offensive teams, and we're going to see that in the second half.
Gotcha. Yeah, so far for Virginia Tech, the offense has been better than Campbell's because of that defense for Virginia Tech, turning the ball over so many times. That was 11 turnovers for the Camels so far.
You know, I'm not sure it's been better. They've scored a little bit because of the turnovers.
Right.
But really, you know, 5-on-5, it's only the turnovers that has kept Campbell from being right in this game.
Another thing with the Hokies, 0 for 10 from 3. As Rechsteiner is into the game now. Sean Padula has 2 fouls.
See how the freshman handles this pressure. Running the offense.
Cattoor with another lob in. Poteet gets hacked. Tech fans wanted a foul. Officials call it all ball there.
I thought that was smart, really attacking inside. Poteet with the size advantage down low. Not necessarily in height.
Coming around to Walsh, he says, why not? Loose at the top of the key. Cattoor fights the ball back for the Hokies.
Cattoor does so much. Even when the shot's not going in, he's still contributing.
That was Rechsteiner. Here comes Cattoor right to the square. Still no good, and Hunter Cattoor a bit slow to get up. A lot of Hokie fans, along with Hunter Cattoor there, wincing at pain at seeing the graduate student for the Hokies slow to get up, and now foul call to Virginia Tech on the other end.
Yeah, 5-on-4, and Campbell did the right thing and attacked and found an opening. Now they get to go to the free throw line.
To the line for Campbell, 35.
Let's see if Campbell can shave this lead down to potentially 7 points here. I feel like, Mac, if they go into halftime only down by 7 or 6, that feels like a major win, especially with how slow they started this game.
Yeah, anywhere in single digits, Coach McGeehan is going to be happy because they just have not really done a good job of taking care of the basketball. They've played well enough on the defensive end, holding a really good Virginia Tech offensive team to just 21 in the first 18 minutes.
Kotoff hits both free throws, so now that lead is down to 7 at 21-14. Jaden Young now trying to make an impact in this game. Look at Elijah Poteet.
Late in the first half against South Carolina, Virginia Tech started doing this, started going inside, and it really made a difference. Paid off big in the second half.
Hokies so far with 16 points in the paint. Most of those coming from Lynn Kidd, add 6 more from Poteet. Corner 3, Del Orso. Good job by Elijah Walsh.
He's played really well since coming off the bench.
Moksakis, wow, what a pass and the finish from Sinani. He's still fighting through the trap. Lynn Kidd ready to check in on the next dead ball.
See if they try to get it back inside.
Hunter Cattoor tries again. And the drought is over. Virginia Tech able to hit its first 3 here in the first half.
Shooters shoot. Doesn't matter what you did on the last shot, make the next one.
Cattoor checking into the scoring effort for the Hokies. Now back to a double-digit lead. Kick ball stays with Campbell.
Checking back in for the Hokies, 15.
Here comes Lynn Kidd.
Didn't need much space, did he?
I like what you said here, Mac, that the shooter shoots. Taking a break. Hokies up 10 after the three-pointer from Cattoor.
joy of gifting at Jared. Now get pre-Black Friday access with 20% off store-wide.
Well, we knew, Mac, Virginia Tech was not going to give up on those three-pointers. They're a team where that's a really crucial part of their identity, especially Hunter Cattoor. And Tech finally hit its first one there. 1 for 5 on the night so far for Hunter.
Yeah, and again, your shooters have to have a very short memory. They can't worry about what happened on that last shot. Yeah, they might get on a roll and feel confident, but at the same time, if you're missing, you know you're a good shooter, you're going to keep shooting. And Coach Young wants it. He talked about that on the call this week. He said, hey, I want those guys to believe the next one's going in.
Hunter Cattoor, a guy Mike Young has certainly believed in from day one, was originally a commit to Wofford before Coach Young took the job here at Virginia Tech, now in his 5th season with the Hokies. Hunter Cattoor in his 5th season as well. Bounce out. Sekis just a bit too short, followed his shot. Handoff. And the shot clock is off for the Hokies to have one final possession before halftime. See what Virginia Tech can draw up here for one final bucket.
Trying to attack this press.
Down to 5. See what the freshman can do here. And Rex Steiner. He's got to shoot it now. Almost got it to fall, and that is it for the first half. A pretty slow offensive one at that at 26. A good crowd on hand. Always is here at Virginia Tech, even for these early non-con matchups. Robbie Barron showing some aggression. Lynn Kidd with a tip back in.
That was a good play. That was an ISO for Barron to take his man off the dribble. Did a really nice job and missed it, but Kidd there for the tip and then the tip in.
There's Mason Grant. Cook is getting a good amount of playing time. Cook for Campbell has twisted his ankle in the last 2 games, so really trying to work his minutes in. There he is now with a triple on the way, and he got it.
Yeah, the gamble for the steal set that up. Coming out of that gamble for the steal, it was 5-on-4, and they found the open man.
Sean Padula with a couple of fouls in this one for Virginia Tech. Just 2 total points so far. Right back up to Padula. He's got to shoot it. I don't think that Padula even knew until the end right there that the shot clock was running down. Didn't matter anyway. Hits the impressive mid-range.
And that's how he got started in the second half against South Carolina and Charlotte on Friday night.
Another 3 on the way. Steris with a miss. Here comes the Hokies for MJ Collins around the arc. Working inside for Collins, and the teardrop can't go.
He can get in there. He can get to the rim.
Cook lost the ball. Steris able to pick it up. Backing his way in on Lynn Kidd. Bit too short. Stick back can't fall. Hokies once again coming out with major aggression on defense so far. The ball handling from Padula. That was unconventional. Let's see. That is an and 1. Wow. Count the basket.
Padula with the penetration, found Kidd. Kidd went up through the contact. Had to grab the rim on the way down. Plus the contact right here, you see. Steris.
2 line for the Hokies, 15.
So it is a bucket.
Kidd already above his average on the year, 13.5's already got 14 here tonight in just 12 minutes of play.
Oh, wow, remember, he only had 5 points per game in all of last season. Lynn Kidd stepping up into a bigger role for the Hokies. Going to have to see how that works out when Virginia Tech starts to get into the heat of this non-con schedule, playing more of the Power 5s, and then the ACC schedule that starts on December 3rd against Louisville.
Lynn's been very good on the defensive end, too.
See what he can do here against Kotov. Made that tough for him. Sean Padula going up against Kotov with a miss. Delorso dribbles the ball off his foot and rolls it back up top. Mason Grant, long two.
Let's see what Mike Young dials up, calls a set play.
For Hunter Cattoor, likes that three ball, and he's hit his last two.
Really nice execution right there. Backdoor cut a little bush screen, and then the dribble handoff, or the handoff to Cattoor for the wide open three.
Well, even Coach Young said, we're getting the shots we like, they're just not going down. It's uncharacteristic for us. MJ Collins, look at the defense there. He's going 3-on-2, swinging out for Cattoor. Wanted that to go and a bit too short. Padula against Delorso and a block.
That's not on Virginia Tech's number 3, Sean Padula.
So,
That's his third.
Hokies up by 17, 36-19. A little bit more offense for Virginia Tech here in the second half so far.
You saw the pass to the post and a cut to the post, and the Cattoor's man right here has to stop the cut by Barron, which leaves Cattoor wide open to come here. Now we can see the finish of the play. Wide open three, great execution from Mike Young. Now on the defensive end, watch the defensive effort, one-on-one for MJ Collins. Watch him stay between his man and the basket, not only contest the shot, but block the shot, and another fast break going the other way for the Hokies.
Forced turnover for Tech. Campbell able to get the ball, start out here on the under 16. Hokies up 17 after a big three, and now foul call that sends Kotov to the line.
Fouls on Virginia Tech's number 10, Brandon Rexsteiner. That's his first.
Rexsteiner called with a foul.
Against Virginia Tech.
That's the third game of the season. Virginia Tech starting out with a win against Coppin State. Hokies rattled off an 100-point performance. Rexsteiner had double digits in that one. Gotta say, I think that triple digits might be outside of the realm of possibility in this one, Mac.
Yeah. There's going to have to be a rush of threes here.
Now Elijah Walsh coming back in for Campbell. Had that dunk there in the first half, adding a little bit of athleticism for the sophomore from Leeds, England. Played his high school ball in Florida.
That press has shortened the game a little bit, Bailey, for Campbell.
Drive to the hoop, a kick out inside out to perfection for the Hokies.
That's real good, and that is textbook Hokie basketball. Baseline drive, baseline drift for the three-point shot. Really nice play by MJ Collins again.
When the Hokies start knocking down those open shots, Virginia Tech can be a really dangerous ball club. Stick back in, and the and one goes for Elijah Walsh.
Baseline drive, kick to the corner, draws the defense. See the defense collapse on Collins' drive? That leaves Cattoor wide open, and that is something Mike Young practices every single day.
Got to really give it to MJ Collins as well in the face of two defenders getting off a good pass. You see Hunter Cattoor, that is his third free of the night, so he is 4 away from tying Malcolm Delaney as the second all-time leading three-point shooter in Virginia Tech history.
You mentioned Collins. He only has 4 points, but he's also got 3 assists, and all of them led to three-point plays, either in the post or the jumper from long range.
And he's a player that really impressed a lot of Virginia Tech fans as just a freshman coming out of Clover, South Carolina, with his toughness last year. Wore that mask in a game for the Hokies. Took down, and official Ted Valentine said that's going to go to Virginia Tech, or excuse me, to Campbell.
Couple of freshmen right there, Jaden Young and Rex Steiner. Not a great communication. Then the late pass to Poteet.
There's Del Orso. Tipped in the air and picked away by Rex Steiner. One-arm pass. Here's Jaden Young. Freshman trying to join the three party.
Goldsboro can really shoot the basketball. That was a nice pass by Cattoor to get him the wide open look.
Going to trap into the corner. Sinani marks up a three, a bit too hard. And tipped out of bounds. Here comes Mekhi Long. Be interesting to see throughout non-conference. Look at a guy like Mekhi Long as well as Robbie Barron, who also is running off for Virginia Tech. How did these guys start factoring into the offense? Because Mekhi Long especially, that's a guy who averaged a double-double as Del Orso hits his first three of the night. It averaged a double-double nearly at ODU.
Yeah, they're both capable. They're both still learning their role with this team and the timing and execution of this offense.
Swatted away, Lynn Kidd fell asleep for a second there. Del Orso with a feed to Kotov, and he skies with a hoop.
Really nice play by Del Orso, getting that ball, keeping the head up. Saw his teammate running down the floor and rewarded him.
And press the freshman point guard. He gets it across the timeline. Young out to Long, and that is a charge. Mike Young did not like that call, but instead it is a turnover that sends the ball back to the Camels.
Elijah Walsh has been a factor in both halves. Watch him move his feet right here. Stayed in legal guarding position. Long a little bit with that left arm, and I think that led to the charge rather than the blocking call.
Campbell with some life. See what they can do with this possession here. Del Orso could be a factor here on the offense in the second half. The Camels do have a chance. And it's been past Cattoor. Misses the mid-range, so the Hokies aren't penalized with a charging call. There's Jaden Young. Way too hard. Lynn Kidd right there. Off to Kidd, and he's fouled.
Really unselfish play. Shot fake, kick it to the post, kicks it to the other post, and Kidd back to the free throw line.
That was on Campbell's 35.
He's 5 for 5 on the night.
That's his first 13 foul. To the line.
Kotov looks like he wants a sub, and Bushter is going to come in for Campbell. Short on the free throw for Lynn Kidd. Oof.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart inside here tonight, Bailey.
Bushter comes in. And Kotov has got a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, he's been a factor. He's had a couple nice passes to backdoor cuts.
Kidd gets the roll. Up to a 13-point lead for the Hokies. Orso lost the ball. It's loose here at midcourt. Possession arrow able to go back to Campbell. That brings us to a break.
Nothing makes a coach happier. And Coach Medina is very happy with this play right here. Knocks loose, uses the body to get the ball, finds his teammate for the finish.
Here in the second half, and we've already mentioned that Campbell has 7 international players, but the Hokies went outside of the United States trying to make their little international influence on their team as well. For more on that, we go over to Nels Williams. Nels?
Yeah, that's right, Bailey. Back in August, Virginia Tech took a trip across the pond to Europe, where they visited Italy as well as Switzerland. Some of the stops along the way included Lake Como, Milan, as well as Lugano, Lausanne, and Geneva. They also competed in 2 games against Italian teams, going 2-0. Now, the trip was important to the team not only to make memories, but for the new transfers such as Tyler Nickel, Robbie Barron, and Makai Long to get to know and get closer to the current players. And Coach Mike Young, when I spoke to him about the trip, said it was invaluable because of the amount of roster turnover year by year, and it was phenomenal overall. And when I asked about whether or not he picked up any Italian while abroad, Coach said no, he's still trying to master English. Guys.
Thanks, Nels. Yeah, can you imagine just trying to get that many people at the airport early enough for an international flight? I mean, Mike Young has to go full dad mode on that one. Right, Mac? I mean, you've done the international trip.
Yeah, and they're so valuable, and not only are they valuable culturally, but they're also valuable as a basketball teaching tool also.
Hokies up by 13. A little bit more heat from outside the arc. Hunter Cattoor was open for a couple.
He's got all 3 of the Hokies' threes tonight, even though he's only 3 for 8 under his percentage.
Good on the drive from Makai Long. Take it back out for Sinani. Dugan, the freshman, back in for the Camels as well. I had to watch out for him outside on the wing, but instead Boisteris will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, Boisteris, you got to sit on that left hand. He's really good going with that left hand, and he's so strong he can bump you out of the way.
Reyes Boisteris, colloquially known as LV on this Campbell's team. First one.
Checking in from Hokies.
Coach Kevin McGeehan just said that Boisteris is just the best locker room guy. Got to Campbell and really had to learn the culture, learn English, and now he's just one of the best guys in the locker room, if not the best as far as the culture fit for the Camels.
He's good on the floor, too. He really plays hard every single possession on both ends. Undersized every single night, but he battles. See who the Hokies go to without Hunter Cattoor on the floor.
Jane Young steps inside. Bit too hard. Boisteris running the point now, picks the ball back up.
See Boisteris moving the basketball from the high post out of that Princeton offense.
Elijah Walsh to the hoop and a charge. Nailing the Hokies out there.
Sean Padula again forcing a turnover. That time by taking the charge.
Checking in for the Camels, number 10.
Over the course of his career, 52 games played, just around 4 points per game. But Boisteris, he came into a tough spot last year, into an injury, and he started to have to get a lot more minutes for the Camels than he thought. And they were just very close to getting to the NCAA tournament with the help of Boisteris for the first time in this program's history since 1992. Wow, a block from Grant. You talked about that athleticism of Grant early on in this one, showing it off there, Mac.
Yeah, clearly the best athlete on this team. He's strong, he's really physical, and he enjoyed volleyballing that one out of bounds.
How can Sean Padula respond here? A spin, shot clock down to 3. Comes the freshman in Young, and it will be a shot clock violation. So a defensive stand there for Campbell.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Young, but again, really good defensive possession. You got to play the entire shot clock against the movement of Virginia Tech. You've done a really good job.
Well, this one's certainly not considered a shootout at this point. Only one player on the entire floor between both teams is in double figures. That is Lynn Kidd. Boisteris gets blocked by Robbie Barron.
Nice help by Robbie Barron. Good job by Poteet cutting the drive off. Boisteris not as productive going with the right hand. And see the help from Barron. Barron's a good defender. He understands how to play. He's matched up against Grant right here. It's a little bit of a mismatch both ways.
All the size for Robbie Barron. Del Orso, the Euro step, no good. Stick back can go for the sophomore from Australia.
Stayed with it. Hasn't had a good night. Still playing hard.
Down to a 10-point game across the timeline for the Hokies. Once again, that Campbell defense slowing them down just a tad.
Yeah, it takes about 10, 12 seconds off every time.
Lane opened up for Sean Padula. He'll go to the line.
He's going to throw that down. What?
Right. That's not something we see about Sean Padula very much.
No, not it. See it in practice occasionally, but he was going full-fledged to the rim.
To the line for the Hokies, number 3, Sean Padula. Shooting 2.
Padula, you saw last year, the sophomore, looked like he had a lot more responsibility in the offense for Virginia Tech. Second leading scorer on last year's team, now moving into this year.
Yeah, and clearly just had to play too many minutes. You know, you wear down, and to give him credit, he's in great shape. An outstanding free throw shooter. Can do everything you want in a big-time point guard.
It's the second of 2 there to make it an 11-point lead.
You know the Hokies would like to get a little separation here.
Del Orso moving it around to get a shot up, no good, and MJ Collins crashes down to get the board.
Came a long way to get that rebound.
Lost the ball, picked away. Race to the rim, Elijah Walsh somehow finds a way to get the layup.
I don't know if he got an assist and a basket or not.
And now he's down. And Walsh needs some help getting up here.
He got the steal. They may be cramped up. I mean, you hate to speculate on anything, but
And there's a timeout on the floor.
what he did right there, but awkward anyway.
Well, brings us to a timeout. Hokies only up by 9. Campbell hanging around here in the second half.
Over the past 2 years, Jersey Mike's fundraiser for Feeding America has been a
game, but double digits so far for Elijah Walsh after that breakaway play. Look at this, Mac.
Yeah, got the steal. And Padula knocks the ball loose, but he stayed with it. Caught a cramp on his way to double figures. And the freshman from England, it's like he's trying to get back in his game.
Yeah,
he's in a pretty good mood. He's played really well.
Yeah, we're both very excited that he feels okay because the way that he laid down on the floor, we're just thinking the absolute worst. Looks like a cramp, and now trying to work it out on the sideline before he can rejoin his teammates. Like we said, just a 9-point game, 41-32. Virginia Tech is led by as much as 17.
Campbell has only turned the ball over 2 times in the first 12 minutes. They cleaned up that just like they did against East Carolina on Sunday in Greenville.
Now remember, that was 12 in the first half for Campbell.
Yeah, 12 against ECU and 12 here tonight. And another 3, the 4th of the game for Hunter Cattoor.
Now make that 12 points for Hunter Cattoor, hitting it from pro length there, and knocks the lead back up to 12 points. Hunter has hit all 4 of Virginia Tech's threes in this game. Here's Kotoff with a rare 3.
Hokies will take that. Make Del Orso give up the ball and let Kotoff take a contested 3.
Bounce to Poteet.
Dugan with the foul.
Number 2, Kobe Beverly.
That brings us to another break. 44-32. Tech up by 12.
I have a present for you.
Hi, thank you.
Do you want to trade me?
Oh, thank you.
This is so cute.
That's tough.
They're so cute.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, ACC.
We're besties now.
I love these.
I'm gonna have to actually keep this on.
I'm blinged out.
You're the next. Hit it with the shit there.
ACC.
Now, Mac, now that Swift Mania has made its way into your neck of the woods in ACC basketball, what do you think about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
I'm all for it. And I'm glad it's real. How's that?
That's all we needed. I'm sure that every...
And did you see her athleticism when she ran and jumped into his arms?
I know. Good for them.
I mean, you know, her performance is picked up. His performance is picked up. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I guarantee you so many people listening to this is like, they're not even in the building. Why is this happening? I try to watch Sunday Night Football. She's there. I'm just trying to watch my Hokies or my Camels. And Taylor Swift shows up somehow still. 46-32.
You think they have friendship bracelets?
I hope so. I'm rooting for the kids. Good for them. I say kids. They're a little bit older than me, but still, good for them. It's better than that guy from the 1975. Here comes Anthony Del Orso as we step back into basketball. Here's Kotoff. What a move.
Wow. That's a big-time move off the dribble.
Still hanging around a 12-point game. If Hunter Cattoor stays hot from three, though, that deficit could get bigger. MJ Collins, this is the bunny, but look at the offensive rebound. Lynn Kidd tried to punish Del Orso there.
Got
And
numbers.
instead, here comes the guard. And it's good.
3-point basket.
Sekis hits the three from the corner. Back to single digits now at 9. Robbie Barron turns around, able to hit the shot from the elbow.
Robbie Barron could be such a big piece of this team's success. He really has a lot of skill.
Made it to the NCAA tournament last year with the Wildcats, averaged right around 8 points a game. Sean Padula called for the foul, though. That'll be Padula's fourth.
I think he feels like he got hit with the elbow.
Kotoff. We need to go to the line, but look at this second half. This happened against ECU. Now, that was a one-possession game at the end of it. You see here for the Camels in the second half against Virginia Tech, seeing the start of a similar trend, Mac.
Yeah, and the same reason. Both East Carolina and Virginia Tech were outstanding defensively, but Campbell adjusted in that second half.
Already see 3 triples for the Camels. They've hit 12 shots there in that second half against ECU. Hit 8 so far here in the second half, and another free throw goes for Kotoff.
And gives Campbell a chance to set that press, which takes 10 seconds off the shot clock and the game clock.
Steiner trying to make a statement in this game. Hokies once again leading by single digits. Lynn Kidd working on Kotoff, who's got 9 so far. That just feels like a big bucket for Lynn Kidd.
It really is a big bucket for Virginia Tech. Stop a little run. Got him a high percentage look.
Kotoff almost walked, and a steal for Hunter Cattoor. Robbie Barron for 3. From Sekis. Del Orso here. Sonani's got the offensive board. Swing it out for Sinani. He's got it. Huge three, and now it's an 8-point game. All right, Nels Williams has an update concerning Virginia Tech. Nels, take it away.
Yeah, guys, I've listened in on the the injury timeout as well as the under 8-minute timeout. Kevin Giltner really emphasized whether or not they're questioning the buy-in and have to trust what they're doing, whether or not they're bought into this program and bought into what they're doing on the court, which is what Coach Mike Young emphasized, is to continue to move in motion. He wanted to trust it and just move the ball really well and really clear, and also emphasize that they are in good shape as well, guys.
Thank you, Nels. Yeah, Virginia Tech hitting a big shot there with Robbie Barron. That's 2 mid-range jumpers for the transfer. Getting that back up to a double-digit lead, but you see the Camels with a couple of those threes. They're starting to believe in themselves a little bit more here in the second half. This is a big trip to the line for the sophomore.
Yeah, and he's an outstanding free throw shooter. As you would expect for a guy who went for 32 last time out.
And misses that one. 4:15 left. He's trying to sprint away here in the final moments, but the Camels just not letting him do it. Elijah Walsh.
Mason Grant with that block, setting up this possession for the Camels.
Inside, Westeris. Swing it back out for Elijah Walsh. Too hard. Lynn Kidd, defensive board.
Kidd and Westeris have had some battles down low on both ends of the floor.
Swing it back out for Cattoor. Tip pass. One-on-one. Westeris and Lynn Kidd. What a night for Lynn Kidd. He's got 20 now.
Hokies spaced that time, giving him a lot of room. Nobody could help. He was one-on-one down there and took advantage.
Career night for Lynn Kidd so far in this one. And a walk. Big break, 20 points for Lynn Kidd. Virginia Tech trying to hang on here, up 12 with 3:10 left.
Over the past 2 years, Jersey...
Not the prettiest night for the Hokies, Mac, but Lynn Kidd, you got to respect his career night. 20 and 12 in this one.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about that, not only are they career highs, but he's done it in 22 minutes. You talk about efficiency.
Look at that turnaround there, 20 points, getting Virginia Tech back up by 12, 7 of 10 from the field. Coming into this game, shooting around 84% from the field. So talk about that efficiency. It's happened in each of the 3 games so far this season for the Hokies.
A little post presence makes their offense a lot better. That'll be good for the Hokies going forward. Hokies willing to take a little time now. Back up by 12.
Jay Collins with 7 seconds, probing around the arc. Collins with the left hand, Lynn Kidd.
Who did we talk about during that break? That guy.
Lynn Kidd has been the man for Virginia Tech tonight, all night. And the Hokies back up by 14. Sekis and Campbell gonna need to knock down some big shots here. Not a big sense of urgency right now for the Camels. Here's Sinani.
Lynn Kidd doing it on both ends. Good possession defensively for the Hokies.
Sean Padula, who's got 4 personal fouls, steps into his shots.
Got to be a little sense of urgency now for Campbell.
Hard bounce inbounds. Boisteris swings the ball around for Del Orso. Well, it's been a tough night for him.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Robbie Barron got those long arms up there and contested that shot.
Coming off of a 35-point performance against the Pirates, 2 for 12 from the field tonight. Does have 1 3 for 6 points. Shot clock at 5. Lynn Kidd again.
That was a perfect possession. Used the entire clock and got a dunk.
And
1 minute to play.
Away for
1 minute to
Cattoor
play.
with 1 minute to play. Boisteris, the prayer of a 3, but a foul called now on Mason Grant. That'll send Robbie Barron to the line for a 1-and-1.
Barron has played better than his stats. He's only got the 4 points and 3 rebounds, but he's been good defensively, been a little bit more active and aggressive on the defensive end. And the 2 shots he made in the second half were both big, keeping that lead at double figures both times.
Now remember, Campbell did work it down to an 8-point game not that long ago, and Lynn Kidd really sparked the Hokies to go a bit further here to get that lead back up to 16. And now 17 for Robbie Barron off of that free throw. Well, still early in the season, Virginia Tech going to move to 2-1. Big game against Wofford this Sunday. That's going to be a big challenge for this Virginia Tech team as it still tries to find its identity early in the season.
Yeah, Wofford, a really talented, really skilled offensive team. A lot of young players, but they've got a talented lineup. Of course, Dwight Perry in his first full-time season was the interim last year.
Down low to Marksekis.
2-point basket is good by 0.
That's for Campbell, a big season coming up. First one in the CAA, going to play some new teams. College of Charleston being one of those. UNC Wilmington, both of those teams picked near the top. Doing a little bit more traveling this year as a squad. So really challenging year ahead for Kevin McGee and this Camels roster. Moving down the shot clock again. MJ Collins. Can't get it to go. Makai Long can't swipe the ball in. Del Orso can't get the bucket, and that'll be it. 60-44. Not necessarily a pretty one, Mac, but a win nonetheless for the Hokies.
Yeah, and a big step forward defensively, especially in the first half, and hung in there on the offensive end, but they've got to be